Hey everybody, and welcome back to Mel's Board Game Room, which is sponsored by Games and Couples, which is part of Oshrat Online Counseling. And it's really neat. They do couple counseling, and then they utilize a lot of the Gottman method, which they've discovered that in gameplay to pick up even more so if it's cooperative games, is a great way to put those practice methods into practice. So be sure to check them out. I'll have their link down below. And today I am doing an unboxing video because I got a lot of games. Let's face it, that's part B of my hobby. Part A is playing them, and then part B is just acquiring them. So let me show you a couple. So this one is one that I picked up at L.L.A.M.A. So from what I understand is happening is these board game companies are dumping some inventory that they have too much of, that games that haven't sold, so they can make room for the newer game that they're developing. And they're becoming available at L.L.A.M.A. at a steal, $5 a game. So this one, I've opened it. The component, let me show you the components because they just look so cool. And also, I watched a tutorial video. So this one has like a strong Sheriff of Nottingham element to it. It kind of has that type of bluffing, trying to get stuff game things. But look at these little minis. Like, these are just so amazing. They're so details, and I don't know if I can show you guys without dumping everything, but the box and the tray that comes in here is just so cool. Somebody had commented like the tray itself is worth $5. So I'm very excited to get this one played. From what I understand, this would be more like have a not party game, but kind of party game feel, I would think. Because yeah, you're trying to just gather the different type of cards, and you'll be kind of offering. I'm saying Sheriff of Nottingham, but it also kind of reminds me from what I've watched at the Cockroach Poker, where you're kind of like, hey, this is this, and then you're like, no, it's not. If it's like it was, then they end up with it, and then, or maybe you end up with it, and depending on what it is, who you want it to have it. So it seems like a really interesting one. So that's Guardian Calls. Yeah, $5. Now, one thing I'm going to say about those board games at $5 at L.L.A.M.A, I really like that it makes those games so readily available to hopefully kind of get the hobby, like kind of a wider spread and get new people into the hobby. Because if you kind of get somebody who's like, oh yeah, you should play board games, it's amazing. So okay, recommend a game. This one is really good and it's $80 game. Chances are they're not going to give it a try. And it's like, oh, no, I don't think we need to. So to have some of those games like that so that they can afford to get into the hobby and give it a try and then hopefully spread the love. So the second one here is from a liquidation store. My friend was there, took a picture. I'm like, oh my God, grab me one. And this one was $9, and Tidal Blades, Hero of the Reef. Now, it's a big, chunky box. Now this one is still in shrink. I picked it up just yesterday. I know a couple of my friends had picked it up and were sharing pictures. They've been playing it and it looks really good. So I am super thrilled to have my own copy and excited to give this one a try. So I've got this one as well. And then it was National Board Game Day, and I had a check kind of sent to me unexpectedly. So I'm like, oh, I wasn't expecting this. Well, let's celebrate with the board game, shall we? So I ended up purchasing Dune Imperium Uprising. Now, I've talked about this one. I played this at Gobfest and loved it. It was so good. So I was like, hey, this is not a matter of if I'm going to own it. It's a matter of when. And it's not available in most of the board game store, but Amazon had it at a competitive price because Amazon sometimes is not really well priced. So, and I'll show you kind of the box there. So be sure to check out my Facebook page because I posted a lot of pictures. We ended up playing Lee and I, and I still really like this one. And it was not a really hard one to teach. It was fairly straightforward and not too complex to get it played. So Dune, Imperium, Uprising. Super excited to have this one in my collection now as well. Now, for the rest of the pile here, because I have quite a few more games, a friend of mine, now he comes over to my game events, like he's fairly local to me, so part of my game group, but he sold his house and him and his family are moving overseas. And so he had to call his collection because they're only taking suitcases. I was like, oh my God, it's breaking my heart. And I think he's more I think it's harder on me than it is on him because he's got the excitement of the new adventure they're going on. And I'm just like, oh, but your poor collection. I couldn't imagine having to call down my collection to one suitcase. Ouch. And I think he's dumping the box on a lot of these, just kind of like condensing the game so that he can bring as more as he can. But so he's selling a lot of his games. I've shared his link on a few groups, the Edmonton group, because I'll be there next week. So if anybody wanted me to bring anything, and oh my God, that would be so hard. But I bought a few from him. So the first one, actually, he ended up giving it to me. It's My City Roll and Write. The reason he gave it to me is because this is a French version. So I think the gameplay is fairly, I think it's language independent, possibly. But the rule books are in French, so I can read that. Not everybody can. So he's like, well, here, you might as well take this one because it's in French. So I have never played this one. I have no idea how it goes. And I also haven't played the My City, like the board game version. So excited to give it a try. Now, I'm a huge Reiner Knizia fan, this is a Reiner Knizia game. And actually, so is my friend. So a lot of his games were Reiner Knizia games. But yeah, so the first one is My City Roll and Write. Then I also got Don't Llama Dice. Now, I have Don't Llama, the card game, and absolutely love it. It's one of those party games that is just so much fun to get to the table. So I figured dice could only make this better, right? So that's all I went with. So I've never seen or watched anything on the Llama dice game. I just know I love the Llama card game, so we're gonna give the dice a try. I also got Qwinto. So I have also never played Qwinto. Is this kind of like a Yahtzee style? I have no idea. I know it's a dice rolling one and you kind of mark things on. But that's pretty much all I know about this. So I am very excited to give this one a try and see how it all works out. And I have more room for little games than I do for big games. So I was trying to maybe we'll try for some small games. And then I have also 9-Tile Panic. I know Carla had talked about this one in the past. I had said how much I enjoyed a certain game, and she said, oh, then you probably would like this one because it has that type of mechanism. And I don't remember which game I was talking about, but I remember she was saying 9-Tile Panic. So I got 9-Tile Panic, another small box game that will still fit on my shelf. So I'm kind of looking forward, and it looks kind of neat, cutesy. So yeah, 9-Tile Panics. We'll have a look and then grow my Oink game collection. So we got that coming. Well, coming. It's here. We have that here now. And then I also bought Sail. So I've seen a lot with Sail lately, and it came with an expansion, the Seafarers expansion as well. I don't know anything about this one. Tricky card game. So take on the role of a pirate crewmate working together in a desperate effort to sail your ship out of dangerous waters. Rough seas are ahead in this 2-player cooperative trick-taking game. Cooperative trick-taking game, okay. Where treacherous storms and a monstrous kraken attempts to thwart your every move. So I enjoy trick-taking. cooperative 2-player trick taking makes this interesting. So, I mean, I have Fox in the Forest, but I haven't played the dual version one. I've played The Crew, which is like a cooperative trick taking game. So I am very interested in putting this one on the table and seeing how it plays. I've seen, like I said, I've seen a lot of people post pictures about it, so we'll see. Now, as well, on my podcast, we had done previously a top 9 games better than Clue, and Sleuth had made Carla's list. And when she was talking about it, I'm like, okay, I'm like really intrigued about this. And he had it still in shrink, because I think this is an older game. I don't know if I can see any publication year, but it looks old. 2014 it says on here, so it's a slightly older game. I don't know how readily available it is anymore, but there we go. I've got my own copy, so I am very excited to give this one a try, especially after Carla had given it such good reviews. So Sleuth is now a part of my collection. And then with my stock background, because I used to teach stock investing and investing in stocks, I got QE, quantitative easing, about printing money. It's one that I heard lots about. It's one of those that's like, I don't understand how this game works from what you're telling me, but it sounds like it's a great game. So I finally have my own copy. I'm going to be able to give this one a try. And I am super excited for it. So, QE. And then I also got, I got Res Arcana. This is one that I hear so much good stuff about. So when I saw this one on the list, I was like, oh yeah, I do want this one. It's not one that I've seen out tons and tons. And it looks really interesting. I've played Res Publica, which was kind of like just a set collecting game, and you had to kind of collect a bunch of cards, trying to get majority in different populations. So I think this one plays very differently. I just don't know how. But I had posted a list or a picture of all the games I've gotten, and this one has gotten a lot of comments saying, oh, Res Arcana, good pick. So I'm like, okay, so it should be good. So we have Res Arcana now. And then I got Acquire. This is one that I've wanted and then didn't pick up. And then it's like, do I want this one? This sounds like one I would enjoy. And it's like, I don't know. And it's another one that's like an older game. Now, this is by Renegade Games. I think it's a republished one. But yeah, so I've now have Acquire. I don't have to hum and haw about it anymore. I have my own copy. So it says on here, you build hotels by placing their tiles, found and grow hotels chain, then invest, merge, and expand until you're the richest investor. A classic game of real estate by Sid Saxons. So kind of improved Monopoly maybe. So really interested in giving this one a try, like with the tiles and then where they kind of get placed. It looks like it might have like a Foundation of Rome or Chinatown feel aspect to it, which I drew both of those. So we'll have to give this one a try and see. Those, it sounds like there's tons of components in there. And then another one that I got is Mille Fiori. And I'm kind of hesitating here because I have no idea how you pronounced it. Mille Fiori, but I have no idea. So, all I know is this game looks beautiful. My friend Carla has it. She really enjoys it. This one had an expansion that she wanted, but she didn't want the base game. So I'm getting the base game. She'll probably buy the expansion. And then everybody's happy. So I'm not big on expansions. So I don't normally miss them or try to play with them very often. So it's about Masterpiece. Oh, this is the expansion. I think it's everything is mixed in the expansion box here. But yeah, I don't know. It sounds like it's fairly, like it's just kind of cool what they have in the corner here. Kind of gives you how strategic, how luck driven, or, so it's fairly low on the luck driven. It's really high in replay incentive, high in strategy, and then fairly high in interaction. So I'll have to give this one a try and see how it goes. So if you are thinking to yourself, wow, where is she going to put all those games? I have no idea. I need to rethink a few things here. Now, there's some games that I have in my collection right now that I'm keeping just for the sole purpose of having for the community game day. That is more geared towards a younger audience, so that I have a wider variety. So maybe those ones could come down from the shelf and make room for my actual collection. So that might be something I'll do. I had a bunch of cash flow game that I wanted to donate that's taking up a tons of room. And then it's just when I reached out to the school, because I figured it'd be a good one for the economic class or math class, but I never heard back. So maybe I just let those ones go and take that room, because it's time now. It's time to put my own game out there. And I haven't touched that particular game because this was a really cool, cash flow was a really cool game that we used to kind of teach the investing mindset. But it's not one that I've played lots lately. So, but yeah, so this is my game haul. Lots and lots of new games. Luckily, the small ones should be fairly easy to fit on the shelf. I still have room for that. The bigger ones, we need to figure stuff out. So that's what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. Go trying to see how I can fit all of this in, which luckily happens to be like my superpower. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing today.